Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to today's review. So we're going to be talking about the debut studio album by English pop singer Dua Lipa. This is a self-titled release, and Dua Lipa is a lovely, lovely singer hailing out of London, England, and she's been making some noise over the last couple years across the globe with singles such as Blow Your Mind, Wow, which appears on this album, and several other promotional singles that led up to the release of this full album. And I'm glad to see that she's breaking through because she is one of the best singers in the game today. She really is. And this new album, her self-titled debut, is one of the best pop albums easily of the 2010s decade thus far. Certainly one of the best I've heard in recent memory. There is nothing to not like excuse me, about this record. Everything from the pop and the R&B and the jazz and bluesy influences that kind of eerily enrich this album and sneak their way in there. Just really create a cohesive blend of pop and R&B that I'm pressed to find out of pretty much 95% of the other pop albums that are out there on the market today. I think we get a bit of like Ariana Grande callback with a lot of these tracks, and they wouldn't be out of place on an Ariana Grande album, but they would certainly be out of place on many other pop albums. So we've got tracks such as Thinking About You, which is one of the promotional singles. That's easily the best song on this record. That's a very, very mid-tempo ballad of, you know, as Dua Lipa sings, of not being able to not think about a flame or a former flame, per se, however you want to interpret it. And it's accompanied by this silky acoustic guitar and some nice beats and some synths. And these synths and these bass lines really help on the opening track, Genesis, which really helps open the album with a lot of nice beat and pulsation as Dua Lipa sings how can we go back to the beginning to coincide with the title of the song, Genesis. Be the One wouldn't be out of place at your local dance hall or your nightclub. It's got some strong vocals from Dua Lipa. She throws a little bit of reverb on there to kind of mix it up a little bit and create a bit of a more cohesive blend. And she goes beyond the temptations of the format rather than just letting auto-tune and maybe pitch correction kind of just pollute the composition. She just throws some reverb on there to just make it sound a little more cohesive and kind of give it that kind of nightclub feeling, I guess you could say, where it feels at home for that kind of sensibility. There's some nice synths, some nice bass lines on there that just really make it an enjoyable track, and no complaints about that song either. Lyrically speaking, one track in particular that I want to talk about is the track Garden. Dua Lipa sings, "Nothing's ever perfect in paradise, don't know what it's worth till you pay the price." And again, this, you could maybe write it off as cutesy writing, but I do think it's some of the strongest writing that I've seen in pop music in a long time. I'm impressed to find pop singers or even rappers for that are on the radio today with lyricism that actually feels a bit more creative and feels a lot more fluid. Nothing can hold a candle to this, at least what's on the radio right now. Very few songs I'm hearing on the radio right now can hold a candle to not only this song, Garden, but the bulk of the songs off this record, and Dua Lipa deserves props for that. No Goodbyes features some strong, sterling vocals from Dua Lipa, a lot of strong pulsation to really kind of lull not really lull, but, pull, I guess you could say, the listener in with some strong, some particularly strong pulsation on this track, and a lot of, I guess you could say, swagger, because it just has a lot of oomph and oomph, I guess you could call it. I don't know how the fuck you pronounce that, to the track. You know what I'm talking about. It's just got that it factor, and again, this is a theme that really comes full circle all throughout the record, and is a bit of a motif, I guess you could say, because every song, while never feeling stale and one and the same, they all feel unique. Definitely provides a lot of the same, I guess you could say, enrichment that comes from these beats and these bass lines. And that speaks volumes to the great production value that's on this record. Then we have tracks like Hotter Than Hell with a thumping beat on the first verse of the song, some sterling keyboards thrown there at the opening to mix it up a little bit, and overall, I just have no complaints about this record. I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. Easily one of my favorite albums of 2017 so far. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Smack the like button if you did. Leave a comment, subscribe. Take care, guys.